So happy to have you guys with us today. Yes. All right. So I just want to welcome you all to, again, happy Monday and welcome to the Be Strong Families Daily webinar, staying strong and positive for ourselves and our children. And we are continuing our conversation based around our protective factors. So today, the topic for today is a good one. Trust as a superpower. And I am your host, Sarita Sashington. And I'm looking forward to a fantastic conversation with you guys today. So I hope you brought your A game. If you're here, I hope you're ready. Next, Lori. Thank you. So you know how we do things. If you're used to being with us, then you know we have this ways to engage. And if you're not, this may look new. If you aren't talking, please keep your phone on mute. When you're ready to comment, just raise your hand and we'll unmute you, and then you will need to unmute yourself to be heard. There will be opportunity for us to invite you to be a part of it, of today's conversation by coming on screen with us, or simply, of course, you're always available to use the chat. But if you'd like to come on screen with us, just raise your hand and we will bring you on with me. Yay! Please be patient with us. And if you're making a comment, make sure that you drop it in the chat, that it goes to all panelists and attendees. If you just do all panelists, it's just going to go to Lori and I. If you want everybody to have access to your wisdom and your experience, make sure this says all panelists and attendees. Okay, great. Thank you. Next, Lori. And I just want to say I'm here and I'm the host for today, but our tech for today is Lori Sanchez, all the way from El Paso. Woo-hoo. All right, I'm going over the agreements. This is how we create an emotionally safe space for us to be able to share the way that we do in our cafes and on our daily webinars. So today's agreements: speak from your own experience and use I statements, right? Don't talk about your cousin them and the neighbors next door and what they should be doing with their children or their situations. Instead, we want you to really talk about what you do in your situations, because that in itself is pretty powerful. Golden rule: treat other people the way you want to be treated. This wraps up all of our cafe agreements. Those things like not giving advice and no judging and, those kinds of things. So remember the golden rule today. Full presence, please, no multitasking. Yes, you can do a lot of things while you're on while you're on this webinar with us. You can check your Facebook, you can email, you can do Candy Crush, but we don't want you to do any of those things. If you're here, we encourage you to be fully present and give yourself this gift of time for just these 30 minutes, okay? It makes a difference. It really does, guys. And lastly, if you need a minute, take a minute. Need to step away, get a little emotional about something, or just need to go to the bathroom, take a phone call, whatever. If you need a minute, take a minute. And do we all agree to these agreements? I see everybody dropping I agree into the chat. So thank you, thank you, thank you, because this is going to help us keep this space safe so people feel like they really want to share. I appreciate you guys. All right, so let's keep going. So just like last week, we are basing today's conversations around our protective factors. And what we're using are the beautiful Living Protective Factor affirmation cards by Be Strong Families. They are great ways to have conversations or conversation starters, as you're going to see. And you actually use them you can use them every day. Pull one and use the affirmation for the day, affirming it over and over again. And then we have the Living Protective Factor book. And that book has some great sort of like things to think about for that day, about how to keep your children safe and family strong. And then it also has a lot of great little activities in that book that you can use. And then we also have Living Protective Factors Playbook, which is a 7-week workbook that you can use with families to help them bring those protective factors home, right? And every day, real time. And then these things are also available in Spanish, okay? So yeah, let's go. Let's get this conversation started. Let's get this party started. Hi, oop, oop. Let's get this party started quickly. All right, next, Lori. Are you guys ready? All right, wave 49. So again, I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to read the description, and then I'm going to talk a little bit while you guys take the opportunity to, you know, type into the chat your comments, or, your comments. And if you would like to come on screen with me, just raise your hand. Lori will let me know you're there, and then we will unmute you. You'll have to unmute yourself, and you can be a part of today's webinar. All right, fantastic. So, wave 49, keep giving trust freely. I make sure that our family runs on trust, especially because we sometimes let each other down. I'm going to read it one more time. Wave 49, keep giving trust freely. I make sure that our family runs on trust, especially because we sometimes let each other down. And now I'm going to add a question here, and I'll give you some time to answer the question. How do you restore trust when it's been broken? How do you restore trust when it's been broken? So feel free to start to drop your comments in the chat, and I'll read those. And while you do that, I'll share a little bit of mine, how I do it. So how do I restore trust when it's been broken? And Lori, can you do me a favor and just drop it in the chat? How do you restore trust when it's been broken? I know for me, I found accountability to be a key for me. Meaning, when I've broken trust with my husband or my children, then I'm very intentional about making sure that I am that I'm showing them that it's not going to happen again. Like, not by just saying it, but actually by steps that they can see. And so, much like Anita, I use open communication, and I check with them. So one of the ways that we did was, I remember I come from a huge family, and then I come from this huge family, and we share everything, right? And then when I got with my husband, his family doesn't share like our family shares, and so we're very, like, I don't know, very secretive. So I shared about my sister-in-law breaking her collarbone with my siblings, who were like, they're the same age. They grew up together. They used to hang out together all the time. And so I shared it. Do you know that my husband was like, oh my God, don't share that. I was like, won't they know if they see her arm is broken? So to me, that didn't seem like it was like, anything hugely like secretive. But to them, it was, oh no, that's, our business. So don't share it. So for him, it was like keeping a confidence. And I didn't know there was a confidence. I didn't even know there was something that needed to be kept, since they were going to see her, but it was important to him. And so I began to make sure that I asked him, like, so is this something that can be shared, or is this something that cannot be shared? And that was helpful to him. And it showed that I respected his wishes, and that I was willing to do that for him. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chat, because I see it's bumping. All right. Woo, you guys are getting it today. Let's see. I'm going to just read it for a few of these. Someone said by genuinely apologizing and then doing better. Anita said trust is restored with open communication. Amber said giving the person time and making an effort to do better. Lori said family meeting to talk about what happened to break the trust and talk about feelings. Victoria said I apologize and recognize being broken and use accountability as well. I asked them what I can do to rebuild the trust. Yes. Someone else said yes, acknowledgement is important, and then not just saying you'll do better, but showing them that you are trying to do better. Maria said, I try to do better and begin to try and be transparent and more open about how I feel in any situation. And someone else said, I think of having a heart-to-heart conversation about the situation that broke the trust and about feelings around this, and then trying to move forward. And then Lori said, take responsibility for the error/mistake. Ooh, these are so good. Thank you, guys. Woo! These are good. And you're right. My husband has a saying. He says, I can show you better than I can tell you. And so if he messes up or anything like that, then he always, instead of, like, he'll apologize. Sometimes he will, sometimes he won't. But then what he'll do is he'll show me his actions. And so then that starts like, okay, I can, all right, this is good. I can trust him in this situation again. Okay, next. All right, wave one, relax and trust. What we have, Lori? I can handle whatever life throws at me. I surrender to life and trust that all will be well. So I'm going to read it one more time. Relax and trust. I can handle whatever life throws at me. I surrender to life and trust that all will be well. So here's the question. What situations or relationships make it easy for you to relax and trust? What situations or um, relationships make it easy for you to relax and trust? Um, there aren't many, for me, there aren't very many situations that um, I've learned to relax and trust in a lot of situations, in most situations, but I think that it has a lot to do with my faith too. And when I see situations that scare me or upset me, um, I know my faith is everything to me. So I run straight to like, that's my security blanket. So then I guess the situations or relationships that make it easy for me to relax and trust, I think are for situations, there aren't any, there may be something that shake me a little bit, but my faith holds me there. And then for my trust, I don't really trust people. I trust, I trust some people call, their higher power, universe. I trust Daddy God to handle all my situations. And so um, that helps me to relax because the trust isn't in myself, but in somebody greater than I am. And if it's a person for my personal relationships, once I get to know you, then I can trust you. I can relax a little bit better if I've had some experiences with you and you showed yourself like, that you can keep a confidence, or that I can trust you, right? That I can talk to you, and that I don't know. And when I see you with other people, right? So like even if you're with me and then if I hear you sharing what other people have shared with you, then I'm a little iffy. Like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna share stuff with this person because she's saying she's gonna share, just stay with me. And then then I won't. And if a person is authentic for me in a relationship, if they don't mind sharing, then I'm okay with sharing and I can trust that I can share with that person because they're also comfortable with sharing. So that's huge for me. Like, I don't want to be the only one sharing pieces of myself. And then the people that I'm in a relationship are not comfortable um, sharing themselves with me. Does that make sense? So, and I try to be the type of person that people can share stuff with or feel comfortable around. And then I want to be around those people. So, and people who don't judge. I can trust and relax around people who do not judge because I hate being judged. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And I try not to judge other people because just I don't know what people are going through. So let's see what you guys are saying. Amber said, if I have a long-standing relationship with someone, helps me trust that person and consistently building that trust. Anita said, faith, positivity, and good vibes make it easy for me to relax and trust in people. She said, yes, I'm the same. I observe and see how the person is because you could never be be too sure who to trust. Someone said, others who are willing to admit their mistakes and take responsibilities for their actions. Yes. Maria said, in relationships, my trust for someone is easy when I receive transparency from the other person. Yes, I'm with like-minded people here. And then when someone said, people who are humble. I'm not sure who said that, but can you elaborate on that a little bit? People who are humble, what makes you trust a person who's humble? And I'll give you a minute to type that up. I'm not sure who said it, but that's interesting to me. What makes you trust people who are humble? That's okay. Victoria says, sorry, connection is spotty, drops every once in a while. That's okay. So yeah, and whoever wrote that, if you want to elaborate, I'd love to hear it. And look at me, I'm gonna put something in the chat, but I can't because I had all panelists and attendees. I had all panelists. Okay, so that's Bryn. Hey, Bryn, people who are humble. Okay, So, yeah, that's good. Brent said it goes with being willing to admit our mistakes, knowing that they don't see themselves as better than people who demonstrate understanding. Okay, okay. Thank you, Brent. Thanks for elaborating on that. That makes sense. Okay, it's good to know I'm with like-minded people in this space. Okay, let's check out the next question, Lori. And Victoria said, I trust people who seem genuine, meaning honest. They seem to care for the well-being of others. Real talk. Thank you, Victoria. All right, way two, pray. Lori. Lori's thing must be on a lag today. Through prayer, I practice bringing the future into the present with humility. Way two, pray. And remember, this conversation is all about trust and superpower. So through prayer, I practice bringing the future into the present with humility. Oh no, okay. I don't know what happened. Can you hear me now, Lori? All right, so here's the question. How does prayer help you to build your trust? How does prayer help you to build your trust? And how does prayer help me to build the trust? I feel like when I'm talking daily to Daddy, that I'm reassured. I'm reassured that he's always working things out for my good. And so it just helps me to just trust. It helps me to trust every situation is like that there's going to be some good coming out of every situation because I just trust that he is always working all things together for my good. And prayer for me is like talking to talking to Daddy and yeah, talking to Daddy and spending time with him helps me to trust that someone else is looking out for me, like it's bigger than me. And so that's what helps me to build my trust. Like the more time I spend with him, the more I know his character, and the more time I'm like, oh, okay, well, Daddy's looking out for me. He's got this. I can't do it, but he can, right? So how does prayer help you to build your trust and your, you know, you whoever you pray to, and it could be higher power, universe, Buddha, whoever you pray to. How does that help you to build your trust? Dee said, let's see, Anita said, through prayer, you know that God has listened to you and he knows our needs before you pray them. God is always moving us and moving for us and making ways. I agree with that, Anita. Anyone else? Thank you, Anita. Anyone else? How does prayer help you to trust or build your trust? Tracy said, a family that prays together stays together, and trusting in God has made me live one day at a time, and I know this too will pass, and I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Ooh, boom. So I replace the word prayer with intention, and with intention, I heard Yamuna says, so I replace the word prayer with intention, and with intention, I hold myself in a trustworthy place with the decisions I make. It also helps me trust in others if their intention seems authentic and positive. Raquel said, my prayer helps me feel confident in my decision making. Maria said, I believe God listens and blesses me with my everyday life. Through prayer, I feel loved and assured he knows my needs, is always by my side. So good to be in conversation today with like-minded people. Amen. Prayer builds relationship with our Father. Positive relationships build trust. Yes. All of these are great, great answers. Thank you so much, guys. Through prayer practice. Okay. Yes, Ramona. Amen for Jesus. That is my saying. It is not intended to ever, it is not ever intended to convert anyone. It's just something I say all the time. It's my way of building trust when I say amen for Jesus. So yes, Ramona, thank you for that reminder. All right. So Dee said, I start by thanking God for waking me up, and I trust that everything will be okay. I mean, really, for me, it is the same, right? It's like this world is like so big, it's too big, and there's too many things happening. And so that is like my my tower, my strength, my way of building trust is that I really do connect with uh with Daddy God like every day. And that helps me just to be like, okay, I got this. And it's one day at a time. And sometimes it's 1 minute at a time, or, based on how my day is going. So that really helps me to build trust and to trust other people or the God in other people. That works for me. So thank you guys. Thanks for sharing. Any others around this question before we move on? Any others? I love it. This is part of building the protective factors, right? So thank you for weighing in. All right, let's go to our last question. So way 16, embrace shame. I accept and appreciate every part of who I am and what I've experienced. My weaknesses are also my superpowers. Ooh. Embrace shame. I accept and appreciate every part of who I am and what I've experienced. My weaknesses are also my superpowers. So let me ask you, when do you feel safe to share your superpowers/weaknesses with others? I know, and this is huge for me because I'm the type of person that understands. Lori, I can say it again, so you can drop in the chat. When do you feel safe to share your superpowers/weaknesses with others? I am like, if you're part of the cafe community practice, we do cafes, then you understand there's some strength in sharing your story. And for me, I've learned that my story, me sharing what I think is embarrassing or failure or whatever the case, when I've overcome it, I always feel like I need to share it with someone else because this may help somebody else. And I'm in a season of that right now in my life. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I've been a wife for 29 years. I am a parent for 31 years. And I'm always thinking, wow, if I share this, it can help somebody else. And so then it's no longer something to feel bad about or because I've overcome it, right? I've like conquered that thing. I made it. That situation may have taken down somebody else, but it didn't take me down. And then I want to share that with other people so that maybe they too can overcome. They may have been in a similar situation. And what I found, especially in like cafes where we talk about protective factors all the time, then I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is so real. We encourage people to share their stories and to be comfortable with being with being vulnerable, right? Because we understand that everyone has a story to share. And if you share your story, you give permission to other people to share their stories. And so I feel more comfortable sharing in a safe space when I feel more comfortable when the space is safe. So you know where I don't share places? Facebook. Because if you ever share anything on Facebook, right, the judgment is so hard. But I feel safe sharing like in cafes. I feel safe sharing one-on-one. I feel safe sharing um I feel safe sharing more intimate when there's been parameters built than I do just like going into or I'm not gonna say some random stranger because I don't even mind sharing with random strangers, right? Because I don't know them. Does that make sense? And I'm probably never gonna see them again, which is why cafes are just like amazing. Um, but I don't because I'm like, if me sharing my story will help one person, then I'm gonna share it. So that's my way of that's when I feel safe. Like I feel safe when there's parameters. Um, and not just like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Yamuna said, it may sound a bit bizarre and naive, but it is truly a feeling I get. It is felt safety. It is felt safety. Time does not define whether I share or not. This is evidence in the parent cafe experience. Sometimes I'm able to confide in someone I do not know all that well. No judgment zone. Yes. Victoria said, definitely a judgment-free zone. Yes. Tammy's Head Cafe. Tracy said, my son shared that with me. He closed his Facebook account due to the judgment. He only uses Instagram. I totally agree with you. Yes, man. If you ever see a Facebook post and someone posts something on Facebook and then the whole, it just go, I mean, the judgment is so real that it just makes me feel some kind of, every time I read, I'm like, oh, if you share something on Facebook, you are opening yourself to like sure judgment. And I'm always thinking these people need a cafe. Like they need to, but this is like this not only encourages me every time I share my story with somebody in a safe space, but it also I really do feel like that people need permission to know that our failures are not anything to be ashamed. My failures are not anything for me to be ashamed about because they help me to learn for the next thing, right? Um, my failures, my mishaps, my mess ups. I'm a better person for them. Um, let's see. Tammy said, oops, sorry, I was gonna say cafes are the first thing that came to mind for me too. Then I have a certain people I'm comfortable opening with. Tracy said, me too, Tammy. That was my first thought, Picker Cafe. Maria said, uh-oh. Oh man, you guys are writing books. Hold on, let me catch up. Maria said, in a trusting setting with others who feel safe and supported, I can share because I believe everyone's story is unique. And at times, people can learn or appreciate the stories that someone shares. Yes. Dee said, I may share some embarrassing experiences, but I also check my audience. Okay, I feel that, Dee. Bryn said, in addition to others being willing to admit their own mistakes/weaknesses, when they do so with positive intentions, not for pity or to compare who has had it worse, but when I'm with those who share their own weaknesses and genuineness, with people who show compassion when others share, and ultimately with those who have a reputation of confidentiality. Yes. Anita said, I always find myself being a listener. For some reason, random people come to me sharing, and in return, I give out positive input. But if the conversation relates to something I've already experienced, and I let that person know they are not alone in the matter of situation. We have to lift each other up lift each other up without judgment because no one is perfect in this world. We all have our stories and testimonies, whether they are good or bad. Bam! You guys are rock stars. Did you guys enjoy today's conversation? I thought this was so cool. This trust is a superpower. Wow. And that we could use that more often. And it does take a certain type of person to be able to trust that other people will learn from their experiences and from their weaknesses and be able to go move forward in a positive way because somebody shares. So thank you guys for having today's conversation with me. Lori, next slide. Here we are. Here's the agenda for the rest of the week. Tomorrow, I'll be here again. The key to great parenting is you. Bam! And then guess what? I'm out of your hair for the rest of the week. Yay! Wednesday is the role of friends and building a strong family with Kathy, tapping into life energy through laughter, sex, and beauty with Kathy on Thursday. And then don't forget to sign up for the Living the Protective Factors Parent Cafe on Friday. Yay! Hope to see you guys there. Don't forget to do the poll. Lori's put up the poll right now. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you for a fantastic conversation. I really, really, really enjoy you guys all the time. Thank you so much. Don't forget to do the poll for us, please. Fantastic. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.